All right, so just step the toes of your feet together, let the knees drop out, and just place your hands somewhere on the belly or the chest, and take 5 deep breaths. Breathe into the lower lungs. One more. Now slide your legs straight and raise your arms overhead. Give yourself some length along the side body, even point your toes. Take a deep breath in. And bend your right knee into your chest. Exhale. Good. Hold on behind that right thigh. Extend the leg up. And on an exhale, walk out the leg, working on your hamstrings. You can always lift your other leg too a little bit. And release everything down, right leg flat. And on your inhale, arms reach overhead again. And bend your left knee in. Now grab behind your thighs, same thing here, extend up. Stretch through the hamstrings up to the heel. Walk your hands up the leg if you want. Right leg can be lifted. Good, and lower everything down. Stretch your arms out to the side for our windshield wipers. Feet are wide and just rotate them side to side. Go pause at center, cross right ankle on top of left thigh, and let's pull that left knee in. Just to warm up the hips, feel free to move around in circles around your sacrum or rock side to side. One more breath with this. Good. Going into our hip release twist. Step your left foot on the ground and drop your knees right. Suggestion, walk your left foot a little bit more left so you really get that outer hip. One more. Good. And let's switch. Cross left ankle on top, pull your right knee in. And same thing, if you moved in any way, do that again. One more breath. Good. Right foot steps down and knees collapse left. Wait for your next inhale to come back up. Loosely bend your knees in and either rock up and stay or rock up and down. Keep your spine nice and round here, your upper back. If you're on tile floor, that might not feel very good, so just be mindful of your spinal bones here. Good, and then come up to seated cross-legged position. Let's cross the right shin in front of the left. Plant your sitting bones down and begin to just roll your shoulders. Good. Opposite direction. And release the shoulders down, let them be heavy. And let's drop your head to the right. So just side bend right. Now take your left hand and flex your wrist as much as you can. And imagine you're pushing a wall away. Push that flexed left wrist as far away from you as you can. Head is still in side bend. And now begin to make rotations like you're cleaning a wall with your left hand. Imagine you had a rack there and just make those rotations, keeping a big flexed wrist. You can make huge circles. Those of you who want to even grab the head and pull it right, you can. You're targeting the nerves and muscles in your left neck and arm area, and then reverse those circles. Good. Release back to center, roll the shoulders, and drop them back down. Inhale, and head drops left. Flex that right wrist and press that imaginary wall away. Don't do half a flexion, do full flexion as much as you can and begin to rotate. The straighter the elbow, the more you get out of this. This is called nerve flossing. So you should really feel those tendons and nerves and muscles in the neck and arm. Good, you can reverse, keep that flexion going. Good. Release. Reach your hands behind you into a clasp. Stretch your chest up. Really breathe underneath your collarbones for one more. And then sweep the arms up. Inhale and fold forward. Come back up. That right leg goes behind you. Left hand behind you and lift your hips. Press the hips forward to target that right front thigh and hip. Lower down. And let's cross the opposite way. Good. Here, just sweep your arms up. Right side bends, right hand on the floor, left arm sweeps up and over. Go side to side a few times, maybe 3 times. Moving with the breath. Get that side body longer, one more round. Good. Release your arms down, left foot swings behind you. We'll go right into the wild thing pose, stretch up. Release, and let's move on to all fours. Good. As soon as you get here, begin to round as you exhale. Arch as you inhale. One more. Good. Neutral spine. Raise your core. Right leg kicks back. Left arm goes forward. Either be still here in balance or begin to rotate arm and leg in small circles. Reverse them at some point. Gaze at one spot. Find your stable area in your body. Maybe that's just your breathing. And then release. Good. Left leg back. Right arm forward. Stay still, or once you find your balance, rotate. Both directions. And release. Good. Big toes together, knees wider, and carefully sit back to your heels, or you can bring your hands behind you. Final option, lift your hips a little, press from your hamstrings. And let's release that. And go the exact opposite here, downward facing dog. Be sure to drive your heels back, to press your hips back, but also make sure you're not rounding. You'd rather bend your knees, but lengthen your low back and lift your tailbone to the ceiling. Tread it out. Lots of space between your ears and your arms, so no shrugging here. At some point, sweep your right leg way up to the ceiling. And on an exhale, step it forward as fast as you can. You might have to take a pit stop or one big step. Right foot is forward, hands to your front thigh. Belly draws into the body. And now you can either stay here and just drive your hips forward, or raise your left arm and side bend it a little to the right. But important is that you're keeping your sacrum dropped forward. Good, release right into pyramid pose. Tent your fingers on the floor, back knee lifts and fold in. One more breath. Slow it down. So from here, come either to all fours or come to a plank. I'll do my forward plank. You can do whatever plank you want. Hold for 5 breaths. Remember, you're not sagging your hips down or lifting them up. You're one long line. So feel like your ankle bones and your hip bones and your shoulder joints are all in one line. After 5, with no rush, lower to the belly. And turn your head to the right as you stretch your right quad. So grab the ankle. Switch sides. Good, release down. And we're setting up a cobra. So it's not about height, it's just about strengthening those back posture muscles, hands to the sides of your chest. Do 5 little lifts. Engage your quads, so try to straighten your knees and down. Working with the inhale to come up and melt, exhale. Make sure one hip point is not pressing more into the floor, so you want to stay nice and square. Good. After 5, push back into a child's pose. Just reverse the work we just did on the low back. Eventually back to your down dog. Try it out. Vinyasa people, feel free to flow to plank and lower down, up and back to down dog. Otherwise, 2 more breaths here. Scoop the belly in, so no pushing the belly to the floor, scoop it in. When you're ready, with control, inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it through. Back knee to the earth. And lift onto your front thigh. Belly pulls in, tailbone rotates slightly down, and sink forward. Maybe that right arm just reaches up and over. Chest stays lifted and breathe. And on to pyramid pose. Use your blocks or props, whatever you got. Back knee lifts, footsteps in a little. And slowly melt your chest down to that thigh. And step right foot forward next to left. Just take 3 breaths in that forward bend. Focus on folding into the hip creases. Good. And after that, just roll up whenever your 3 breaths are done. And just shake it out. Good. So step to the front of your mat. Arms to the side, stacking shoulders over the hips. Take your hands at the heart and step your left foot back into warrior one. So make sure you, for a moment, you ground your weight backward, like someone's pulling that left thigh back, and then melt into the front bent thigh. Chest is lifted as your arms come up. Option stay. Option 2, gently clasp your hands behind you. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, fold to the inside of that front knee. 3 breaths. On an inhale, arms sweep forward. Make it slow so you gain strength here. Come all the way up. And I want you just to pivot around to warrior one on the other leg. Make your adjustments. If you like, clasp your hands, switch the fingers one over. Big inhale and fold. Release your clasp, lift your chest slightly and sweep the arms forward and all the way up. And then turn toward the sides. You face me. Good. Hands at the heart, take a breath. Now turn your heels slightly in for that goddess pose that we do. Make sure your kneecaps face more or less over the second toes, but never to the inside of your big toes. That's why you can adjust the feet. Get to your goddess pose. Good, now stretch your arms out with a little bend in the elbow. And 3 times, inhale at the center, exhale, bend your right forearm toward the right thigh. Inhale, center, exhale, left. 2 more, work with the breath. Stretch those lats, they're here. 1 more round, keep that butt low. Good, hands to the heart, stand up if you need. Otherwise, I want you to lift your left heel and pulse 5 times. 1, 2, shoulders over hips. 3, 4, 5. Switch heels, right heel up. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Heel down and stand up. Release your arms. Take a breath. Good. Turn your left heel back. Let's take it into triangle. Right foot turns open, arms out. Weight pushes back to the back heel as someone's pulling you on that right arm. Right hand down. Left arm up or wrapped behind you, your choice. Notice how you stand on your feet. Big toe mounts, little toe mounts, center heel or grounding. That reset, some of you like, you can do that once or twice. Good, inhale, bring it back, and switch. Root to the back foot, That invisible person pulls your left arm now and down. Reset. And on an inhale, let's bring it back to center. Turn your feet so they're parallel. Take a breath, roll your shoulders. Warrior 2, right foot turns open. Take a wider stance. Make sure your hips don't tilt here, they stay square. As you lunge into your right leg, that invisible person is now pulling your left thigh to the back of the room, okay? Arms out. Find your breath, that upward energy from the crown, tap into that. Option you stay, option 2, right palm turns open. Pull forward through that right hand so you go from head to back heel, your diagonal line. Now add your left arm if you want, 3 breaths. Holding your obliques here, the sides of your core. Good, back to Vira 2, and release. And switch to the other side. Right thigh's your power leg, so engage it, and soften into that left knee bend. Breathe. So we're not sinking into the floor, we're pushing the feet through the ground, so grip the floor with your feet. Cultivating foot and ankle muscles. Stay option 1, palm turns open. Option 2, reach forward. Get that diagonal line, add your right arm for 3, 2, 1 more. Good, bring it up and release. Forward bend. Coming to slightly closer stance and any forward bend. So I'll show this one from the side. I really like this one. You can come down and then you can just walk your hands through your legs as far back as you can. Drop your head and even soften your knees a little and shift your weight forward. So it almost feels like someone's pushing your hips forward over your toes and walk your hands further back. Take maybe 20, 30 seconds for this. Breathe. Good, carefully come out when you're done and locate your block. You want to put that in front of you, get a manageable stance here. Make sure you're standing in front of the heels, not behind your heels to come down, so we have that gripping action. So fold forward, but keep your chest lifted. Take your left hand to the block, find the height that works. And make sure the chest doesn't collapse right onto the ceiling. Look up, take 4 breaths. Good, and switch arms after 4. When you're done, leave the block and come back up to stand. Good. Now push the block out of the way, go back to just shaking it out. Now, today's balance pose, I wanted to do a airplane pose with a little bit of a pulsation if you like. If you don't, just do your airplane pose. Remember, you can be near a wall with one hand and still do your airplane. So your right foot steps slightly forward, arms out, and I want you to not collapse your shoulders. So pull your shoulder blades back, engage your upper back, And then as you lean forward, you lift at the same time, you lift your left leg. Good. Do your best to imagine your hips square, and now soften your right knee. Weight is probably a little more in your heel, and now 8 times, just softly bend that knee like you're doing with pulses. That's about 3. Keep the weight in the heel, it just bothers your knee. Don't do it. About 5, 6, work those hips, 7, and 8. Good. Release back to mountain pose. Around, take a breath. Left foot steps forward, arms out, square hips, and come up to your full pose. Stay with that, or soften your standing leg, and 8 times do a little pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. That was it for standing. Have a seat. And for a moment, just go into egg pose, sitting on the block or the floor. All right, from egg pose, you can come into, and I'll adjust the camera, you can come into both pose, gently hold onto the backs of the thighs. Keep that chest up, but lean back and pick up your feet. You can reach your arms forward or keep supporting your thighs. Take 4 more breaths in that. Good, after 4, calm down. I'll face you for this one, and just put your hands behind you like a kickstand. Stretch your right leg out, and just rotate the leg side to side. Feel like your little toe wants to touch the floor and your big toe. This is not a huge stretch for most of us. Just a nice range of motion exercise. But now step your right foot closer and do the same thing. Make sure your left foot is kind of out of the way. All right, and from here, I want to go right into double pigeon. So we worked on that right hip. I want you to cross the right ankle on top of the left top of knee. Knee on the right is stacked over the other ankle. Go to cross-legged if this is just way too much for you. Because now that we all started working out again, you might have tighter hips. Lean forward if you like. Breathe, observe the rhythm of your breath. Notice how slowing down and making your rhythm of the breathing more mindful brings that same quality into your mind. And we did this the other day, I think. If you want, go right to prayer twist. Left elbow rotates all the way to the right thigh, left elbow to right thigh, and go into prayer twist. Gently come up, and now extend that right leg out in front of you. Left foot comes to inner thigh. Plant your sitting bones down evenly and sweep the arms up. Inhale and fold in. And inhale, come back up, release. Good. Now the right leg gets a break, left leg. Stretch it out and begin to rotate. And step the left foot up and rotate. Don't force anything, but it's just good to address the sides of your hip capsule. One more. All right, and let's take it into double pigeon. Cross your left ankle now over the right knee. Just breathe if you want to add the forward fold. Not the twist yet, but do the forward fold if you want. Go back to that mindful breathing. You want to add the prayer twist, go for it. When you're ready, unwind. Send your left leg forward. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold in. Good. Come back up. Release your hands. And now just step the soles of your feet together, but very close to you. At the same time, the body wants to go here, but I need you to pull your heels in and then rock your pelvis slightly forwards and press your knees down. Sit on a block if you need. Good. Release. Step your feet onto the mat in front of you, hands behind you, and lift up. Press your booty up. Good. And release down. Extend your legs forward. Overflash from beneath your seat. Sweep out and up, inhale, and fold forward. We come up and let's lie onto our back and turn around. Have both of your props near you, please. But once you're on the back, just take a quick rest, whatever way you want to. Deepen the breath. Good. And now step your feet onto the mat, arms down to the sides. Lift up into a bridge. Hands slowly lower down. Stretch your legs out or forward for a moment. Take 3 breaths. So the next one, it's very good to find imbalances in your hips. So put the block between your thighs so that they don't obstruct your knees. So like mid-thigh, yeah? Good. Step your feet under the knees more or less and lift up into bridge. You have to gently engage your inner thighs to not lose the block. And if you want, raise your right leg. Just press the foot forward, that's all. You should really feel this in your inner thighs and of course the glutes. Keep your hips square. And then switch. And we did this last class, just because it's an alignment pose, I want you to go back to both feet on the floor and then pick whichever side you thought was harder and do another 3 breaths on that side. Good. Went down lower, lower down. Drop your knees apart. At this point, you can even grab your mouth and stretch your arms overhead a few times. Observe your wrist. The wrist of the tighter shoulder usually bends, so make sure you do the same thing with both hands, wrists, and elbows. All right, let's release. And I would like to address the inner thighs one more time. So put the block underneath your hips or just stay lying flat. Find a good spot here and extend your legs up. Be here for a moment. Now, without moving anything in your spine, remember this is a hip hinge, lower the right leg down so it almost touches the floor. You get a hip flexor stretch, but you also have to work for it. And then switch. And again, switch. Don't touch the floor with that bottom leg. One more round if you like. Good. And then both legs up eventually. Try your best to get your knees straight. Flex your feet and stretch your legs as wide apart as they go without letting them drift forward. So what you can think of, for those of you where the legs drift forward away from you, feel like you want to rotate the inner thighs to you a little. Good, and now 10 times, keep the legs long. Bring your legs together and then as wide apart. Let them stretch for half a second or so and then bring them back together. Make sure you go really slow so this really has an effect of lengthening and shortening the muscle. So 4, don't let those legs drift away from you. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Lower the feet to the floor. Make sure the block is in the right spot as you straighten your legs out. This should not feel like it's compressing your low back or just come off the block. Usually it helps to lengthen your arms and kind of Elongate the torso upward away from the block. Now, if you want to add to this, right foot slides right, left ankle over right ankle. And you can even slide your arms to the right or stay at center. Get that oxygen into the body. And switch. Good. And now please release all that, come to center and lift off of the block. And just straighten your legs into Shavasana for 3 breaths. And here your legs can remain straight, or you can stretch your inner thighs and step the soles of your feet together. But I want you to wrap your right arm under the left. Intertwine your forearms as many times into each other as you can, including the wrists. Rotate and then move your elbows up and down or in circles, just addressing upper back, shoulder stiffness. And reverse, left arm under. All right, release your arms down. Bring your knees together. And you can either practice a shoulder stand here, or I'm gonna do, it's not quite a plow, you're just rolling back. Really what you can do is just grab your belt, put it behind your ankles, and just gently pull. And here we don't try to keep the butt on the floor. Let it roll away from the floor if you want. Bend your knees as much as you need, but it should stretch that low back, hamstring, that kind of area. And wherever you are, let's say you're doing what I'm doing. My knees are slightly bent, but I can press one leg temporarily very straight. And then switch that. If you're in full shoulder stand, you can add a plow at some point. Do this as long as you like, and then go back to your short resting pose. All right, next, let's assume everyone's down. Take your time if you're not. Let's do a fish pose, and I'll do this over the block today. So the block goes right, and I know some of you have a rubber ball, so I think we discussed, put it pretty much right between your shoulder blades, in line or above the bra line. And you can tell yourself where it feels the best. Some maybe lower and some higher. What it definitely needs to have is it needs to be on the rib cage and not lower than the rib cage. So you're not having it under the low back. Personally, I like to do the goddess arms here. So bring your elbows together. You have those 90-degree angles. And then you just let your elbows drop open. Stretching across the chest. Give yourself time to melt into it. Good. And slowly release. Lying down again. We got one more hip stretch here. We'll do this lying down today. You could sit up if you want, cross right thigh over left and grab your feet. Sally, that's where I would push you. Sorry, I can't. What you're trying to do, if you get the stretch, just ignore me. But if you need more, press your sacrum to the floor, right? So it's glued to the floor, and then pull your feet in. Allow that rotation in your thigh bones away from you. All right, switch sides. When you're done, release and extend your legs out one more time. Last pose today. Let's stretch the legs once more. Grab your belt, put it around the right foot, or like we discussed earlier, you can just hold on to your big toe. Eventually lower the leg to the right. And come up, switch the hand to, or the belt to the other hand, or grab with the other hand on the toe, and leg goes left. When done, come up and switch sides in your own way. Leg can go left when you're ready here. And switch to the other side. Come up to finish. Bend both knees in one more time, someone to do happy baby pose. And now release your legs for Shavasana. Good, so take a couple nice deep breaths. Allow your breathing to either stay deep or calm it down a little. I'm just going to go through some points in the body and relax them together. So start with your face. Relax your forehead and your temples. Imagine the eyes rolling deep into their sockets. Soften the root of your tongue and relax your jaw. Let the tops of the shoulders and the collarbones relax. Feel that same relaxation run down your arms into your hands and fingertips. Soften your belly. Relax your hips and thighs. Let your calves unwind and soften the soles of your feet. Body relax. Mind relax. Just be with that peaceful feeling in silence for a little bit. Good. Deepen your next breath. Wiggle the fingers and toes. And now stretch your arms overhead. Release your hands down and bend your knees in. Let's come rolling to one side. Sit up. Put your hands at the heart center. Namaste.